Hello, welcome to the 25th day of July 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation. And this is Rudy, my dog. He came out, he heard the postman or the newspaper guy ride by in the scooter, and he came out to give him a woof, woof. Yeah, you heard that, huh? Keeping the neighborhood safe. Okay, here you go. This video is something that I do every day at 5:30 a.m. It's an exercise that I do to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and to go over any interesting challenges or opportunities that I met, to see how I did handling those. I think about in particular my creed, and I prepare for the coming day. This is a journal of sorts, so I hold liberty and am able and willing to go anywhere relative to my own life, so it's all about me. So be forewarned, and I also do talk about sensitive subjects sometimes, like death. I'd like to say hello to new subscribers to the channel. It's good to have you here. And a big thank you to my supporters over my YouTube members and my supporters on Patreon. Hey, by the way, as long as I'm on that topic, I'm rolling out this is a kind of a timeout from the usual thing, just a notice to my Patreon supporters, and I'm going to try to find a way to extend this to my YouTube members as well. I'm rolling out I have a YouTube store and a eBay store as well. They're a little bit different. They look a lot alike right now. The YouTube store is an antique store, and the eBay store is an antique store plus, kind of like, think of it like a pantry, general store, Japan stuff, groceries, stuff like that. It's basically merchandise from Japan. Anyway, I finally have enough critical mass in the stores that I've decided to roll out, in appreciation for starting with my Patreon supporters, a tiered level of benefits for the store members. So if you're a Patreon supporter, I think I have 4 or 5 levels at over on Patreon. There'll be percentages, coupon codes for each of those levels to use in my YouTube store, aka my fourth wall store. So those of you who are members, if you're a member at any of those levels, I'm going to be, and I'll be also sending out a broadcast email today, but I'll be sending out targeted emails to, or posts on Patreon to those targeted audiences to let them know what their coupon code is. They can just take that code and apply that over in the fourth wall store. It's a good code standing for good forever. Give a nice discount in appreciation for your support on Patreon. I believe I can extend those codes or come up with new codes for my members on YouTube, and I'm going to try to find a way to do that as well. Anyway, timeout over. I just wanted to send that out. But that's a big change. I spent a lot of time yesterday. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while. I'm very grateful for my supporters, and I think that'll be a nice standing benefit, especially given as my antique store looks to be my new, if not vocation, my work-like avocation. Now that I'm retired, should be a lot of stuff coming down the line for that venue. Okay, back on track. So no, that's it. I've gone through all my disclaimers. Yes. All right. So for the last 24 hours, let's talk about that. My one note here I have for the last 24 hours is an interesting note. It says, weakened but steady. So Tim, if you're out there already, Tim and I are going through this thing right now. He's about the same age as me. We're both retired, and we were both overdoing it. Well, I don't know, Tim, about you, but I wouldn't consider it overdoing it necessarily, just going out and working for an hour in the garden. But it seems to be, my body seems to think that that's overdoing it, and I am punished, even though I seem to be able to go out and do this. I seem to be effective in the garden. I seem to get punished for it, insofar as I'm wiped out for the afternoon and the evening, and then it carries over into the next day. And I'm utterly confident that this is related to the summertime heat and humidity. I'm just not built for it anymore. I can't do it anymore. Tim's described the same type of circumstance. So when I'm saying weakened but steady, what I mean by that is this has been a tough week for me. The heat and humidity have really taken me out, especially because I had 2 days in a row that I foolishly went out into the garden or the yard in the late afternoon when I thought it was cooler and paid the price for it. Yesterday, though, I used my reason ahead of the day to say, okay, well, Kurt, don't do that anymore. Clearly, you can't do it. So right now, the early morning hours, I can go out and do it, and I will. I'll spend a little time out in the yard, watering the plants, weeding a little bit. After I come back from the morning radio exercise, and then that'll be it for the garden for the day. And I have other things that I'll be doing. But so I was weak yesterday. I was really, really weak yesterday. So much so that by noon, I wasn't talking to anybody. We went out to lunch with Dad. I sat there, and I'm a talkative guy. I was practically mute. I just really wiped me out. And I, let the family know. I said, hey, there's nothing wrong. I'm just not feeling good. It's not that I'm feeling bad. I'm not sick. Nothing's wrong. I don't handle this heat. Now, I don't have air conditioning in this room, and that's okay. But I've got this fan, and I just sit there with the fan blowing on me. By next summer, I'll get an air conditioner for this room. Although having an air conditioner in the room might kind of defeat the purpose. I don't know if I really want an air conditioner in this room. Okay, hear me out just a little bit. I know enough about air conditioners to know that if I hide away in the air conditioning in an air conditioned room, it makes me more vulnerable when I do step outside. I also know through observation and my own experience that acclimation with the weather can heighten my ability to sustain myself in it. I have to look no further than 3 doors down, where they're building a new house right over there, 3 doors down. Just yesterday, they started construction this week on the house, and they're moving fast. The construction crew currently out there consists of, they're all in their 60s. I've never seen this like this. They're all old men. Now, the young men, mostly, a few women, that are working in the outdoor construction industry here in Japan, a recent trend is they wear these puffy vests. And the reason that they're puffy is that they have an air conditioning unit. It's not really an air conditioner, but it's a fan that has a lithium battery that can run all day. And because it blows, it puffs the vest up and have a hood that comes up. And it's actually quite clever. And it keeps them cool all day. And I've gone to the workman's store and seen them, and they're very effective. The men working right now over there, and they were out there in the height. Tim, I just saw a comment fly by from you. I know you're out there. Tim, they're our age. They're older than us. There were like 5 of them yesterday. Height of the day. They don't need no stinking poofy vest. They're out there just going for it. And Tim, they were on my mind. I was like, man. So clearly, and I see plenty of farmers around here. There's the one that they call the Sensei. He's got a field right over here. He's a gentleman farmer now. I don't know what kind of sensei he was. The only reason I know he was a sensei was that he was out and he's got a beautiful field, big field. Sometimes you'll see me walking past on the Retiring in Japan videos, walking past the farm over here with the rice fields, farmland. He's got the biggest plot in the back. It's hard to see. And he's out there all hours of the day, and he's in his 70s for sure. The only reason I know he's a sensei is that one day I was walking past and there was a woman my age screaming at him from across from the road. She was trying to get his attention. Sensei, Sensei. And he couldn't hear her because he's so old and deaf. He couldn't. She gave up and just walked. So I know, by being a sensei, he might have been a teacher. He's certainly retired now. He might have been a teacher. He might have been a doctor. He might have been a dentist. He might have been some position where they would, which earns the moniker, the what is it, the emeritus status of sensei. Anyway, the sensei, as I call him, as and others call him too, he's in his 70s. And he doesn't let the day stop him. Nothing stops him. He's out there weeding stuff. He's pulling his garden. He's got his bicycle. I've seen him carrying these big bundles of weeds, at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. He's out there in the wintertime hoeing, stop. He never stops. So I know I've got it in me as a human being. So back to the point, Yumiko keeps saying, let's get an air conditioner for your room. There's a beautiful air conditioner for Yumiko's room, but there's not one for this room. And I'm going, maybe next summer, because I want to see how I can do this summer with just the fan. Partially because I don't want to acclimate myself to an air conditioner and suddenly become, a slave to air-conditioned living. You know what I mean? So, back to yesterday, the note was weakened but steady. I was weak yesterday, but I was steady. Tim, I keep addressing my comments to you because I know you and I are so similar in our circumstance. And maybe Evelyn as well, and Robert, other retirees who are in our little group here. If you ever feel like you're wanting for something if you ever wonder what it is about, I'm speaking to the choir. I'm saying stuff. If you ever know, it's not like I'm telling you something you don't already know. You already know this, but this is just another piece of affirmative evidence to be the case. Whatever it was that I was feeling like I was wanting and missing in retirement, definitely can be fulfilled through work, and definitely is nothing but good when it's work without the stress. Because I've really begun to lean into my business. The 2 jobs that I applied for, I haven't heard back from them. I don't think I'm going to hear back from them because, one, they want full-time employees, and I applied for and I noted part-time employment. Even though I'm a perfect candidate, I'm right here nearby. I've got to work. I can work. No need for a visa or anything like that. I haven't heard back from them. And they had over 200 applicants for the jobs, so So I'm leaning into my business. And I'm glad I'm not hearing back from them because my business is turning out to be more fun than I thought. Weakened but steady. I was weak yesterday. I let everybody know in my circle that I'm weak. I'm not feeling good today. Don't take my silence as anything but me just kind of clamming up a little bit. I sat up here in my room with the fan turned on. Rudy sitting next to me. The fan turned back and forth to give each of us steady coolness. And I plowed on. I listed an antique item in the morning. I know this isn't going to sound like a lot, but it is a lot. I listed an antique item in the morning. I shipped an order mid-morning. I then listed an inventory item in the early afternoon. And then I worked on my shipping rate calculation formulas after that. And so thank you, some of you who are making multiple item purchases in my store. I really do appreciate that, because when you do that, gives me a chance to see how my, is it an algorithm? My formulas that I'm setting up in both of the stores for multi-purchase items is shaping up. For example, if you buy a couple of items, I can then look at how they ship, because I can't do it by operating from Japan. I can't do it easily in such a way that it can automatically figure out the total, because I'm shipping all over the world. So I have to kind of roughly guesstimate things so that it comes up right. And I've settled on 2 shipping options. They're called standard shipping and expedited shipping. And they're both air. And then I do have in my back pocket economy shipping, but I don't include that option I don't include that option, but it's there. If someone reaches out to me and say, hey, can we get a cheaper shipping method? I can pull that out. So here we go. I'm going to go out on the shipping road for a second. Again, this is my video. I can do whatever I want. This also, talking it out loud, helps me to figure it out better too. The standard shipping, they're both standard shipping and expedited shipping. They're both airmail. And they both take about standard shipping. You can expect your order, if you're like in the United States or the UK or Australia, primary targets for my business, Canada to New Zealand. I didn't pick these countries. These are just the places where my customers buy from. Standard shipping, you can expect delivery in about 14 days by airmail. No tracking number. Expedited shipping, maybe a week, or could be up to 14 days, but probably faster. This is called EMS, gets a tracking number. So it's the main difference. Both are email, both are airmail, no tracking number for standard, tracking number for expedited. In my back pocket is surface mail delivery, which is like a month or two for delivery. It's very, very cheap, but I'm not putting it on there because my experience in the past when I was in antique dealer before was when I offered economy shipping, that was the one place that caused problems for people. Because even though the terms of service say if you choose economy shipping, don't expect to see, you might not see your package until the next season. It literally might take 2 months to get to you. And when I was an antique dealer before, that was the shipping option that caused people to write to me 6 weeks later and say, where's my package? Well, it hasn't arrived yet because it's still in a freighter somewhere mid-Pacific or in the Indian Ocean or something. We have no idea where it is because it doesn't have a tracking number. So economy shipping invites upset and confusion and disappointed customers because even though it says it's going on a ship, they get understandably, they get impatient. So I don't offer it. But just, it is out there. If someone writes to me and says, for example, like I'm not going to send someone a bag of crackers that are going to take 2 months. They'll be stale by the time they get there, right? But I will if someone wants to buy this Dharma figure, which is for sale, or this ring chime that is for sale. I mean, not the ring chime, but the monkey that is for sale. I will, and they say, but can I get it even cheaper than the shipping? Sure, I'll add in, I'll adjust the listing to include the economy shipping option, and then have that conversation with them and say, I've added it in. It's very cheap. Expect to see it, when you change your clothes next season, and there's no tracking number. So that's what I've done. Anyway, the reason I want to say thank you is that those of you who are buying orders and combining things, I get to see the result, right? I get to see, for example, how much you wound up getting charged for shipping, and then how much the actual shipping cost was. Because I don't want to overcharge people for shipping. So it allows me to tune it a little bit, you know what I mean? And that's helping a lot. Anyway, I got way off topic, but it is on topic as far as I was saying, weakened but steady. I spent probably an hour and a half yesterday working on tuning my shipping numbers in both stores. It's a lot of work to do that. Also, I introduced a new on the, I think it was on the Fourth Wall store, because I got 2 stores, so I get a little confused sometimes, and their feature sets are not at parity, right? I offered a new 100 orders over $100 get free shipping. I had introduced that, and then I also, and I was working into the evening on this one, even after my bath. I was working on this one, was introducing the discounts for my Patreon supporters, to give them coupon codes so they can shop in the eBay store and have a permanent discount. So, for example, if you're on the green tea tier of Patreon, you get a coupon code for a certain percentage off on anytime on my orders. I've got that all set up. That's in place in Patreon now. What I'm going to be doing today, and I'm getting to today, is I'll be communicating to my patrons what those codes are, and so I'll be sending out posts to them, and I'll also be broadcasting at large to let people know through all social media that if you are a Patreon supporter, you have coupon codes, and if you want to get discounts on my stuff, hey, consider Patreon. I'll also be introducing in the weeks ahead, having sales and stuff like that. All that is circling back on this note. Weakened but steady. I did all of that yesterday. I wasn't feeling awful, but I wasn't feeling good. Yet I worked hard and I worked steady, and I feel great. I woke up this morning feeling like I had one of the first days, since retiring, that I've woke up the next day after a hard day's work. You know that feeling that you have after a hard day's work, that you really felt like you did something good? It doesn't matter what the work is, as long as it's honest work. That's how I feel this morning. Now, as the sun begins to rise over my shoulder here, and I know what's coming. The heat and the humidity. We'll do a temperature check in a moment. I know that that's in danger. Okay, so that's enough about yesterday. Let's go over the creed, which you can read about in my book, Going Alone, in the chapter titled The Good Life. My creed consists of following 8 objectives. I've got one that I'll linger on for just a moment. The first objective is to be always ready to die, which means that I need to have my affairs, my relationships, and my life's work in good state. I've been thinking about this one since yesterday, given my relationships. If you watch these videos with any regularity, you've probably heard me say that for the most part, I have good relationships with everybody in my life except my mother, who seems to hate me. And this is not me complaining about my mother, it's just an observation. And if it seems like hate is too strong a word, it's not. Ever since I've been a teenager, my mom and I'm only saying this not to disparage my mom, but to lay the foundation for my thoughts. Ever since I was it basically came to the age of reason, my mom has seen both myself and my brother as enemies and has sought our pain and suffering as a result in the most diabolical manners you can imagine. Never physical, always mental, trying to mess with our heads and cause us suffering. That's literally what she's trying to do. Anyway, with that in mind, I long ago made a decision, long ago, I realized that, like 4 decades ago, I realized I will never have a good relationship with my mom. Yet, I feel gratitude and an obligation to help her if she needs me, and which I've done in the past, and it's always come back to haunt me every time. Nothing, what do they say? No good deed goes unpunished, right? And my mom is the author of that one. Anyway, she's closing in on, I think she's going to be 88 this year, right? And so she's closing in on 90. She's still raring and roaring like a dragon. But she's getting old, and I know that she's going to need me, if anything, to help, usher her through whatever passage is coming to death, right? I told you I speak clearly about death and things like that. Something's going to happen, and she's going to need me. And my wife knows that I will go back to America. I'll get on a plane and go back to America and be there for my mom. Just to facilitate that end, right? I don't have no hopes of anything else. Anyway, I've got signs and brewing that might be coming sooner than I think, mainly by virtue of just how ferocious her assaults have become. She emails me 5-7 times a day with the most vicious assaults, which I keep every one of them. I read every one of them. It's all in email. I keep every one of them for 2 reasons. 1, I read them so that I can assess her state of mind. 2, I keep them because I need to have this as evidence for when I go back to the States. I'm going to have to, if she heard me say this, she'd flip out. But my brother and I do talk about this, and we're in concert about this. We're going to need to take control, right? I don't know, the right words to necessarily say it, but step in as her adult, capable, competent, caring sons, take control of the situation and protect her, see that she's protected, and take care of her dogs, figure out what we're going to do with her dogs until the end. I could be gone for a long time. I might go back. I might wind up. The scenario I keep imagining is she's going to fall down, break her hip, wind up in the hospital. I'm going to have to be on an emergency flight back to the States. I'll fly back in. I'll stay at her house. She's got 2 little dogs. I'll stay at her house, take care of her dogs, take care of her, and I'll live in her house and see her through to the end. I could be gone for a year or 2. I don't know. I'm ready for this. But Okay, I wasn't talking about these. I was talking about my creed, being ready for death, and having my affairs in order, my relationship sound, and my life's work complete. And this is why it's so good to do this out loud. Because when I started this, I was thinking that I had a problem to solve. No, I don't. I mean, hard times are coming, but there's no problem to solve. I've already got a plan, right? I just told you the plan. So by doing this genuinely live and out loud, it helps me to realize that I went into this thinking that I had to solve this problem. I've got the problem already planned out. I know what I'm going to do with regard to my mom. My brother and I have already figured it out. Okay. Of course, that plan will probably have wrinkles and problems and things that I'm not aware of yet. And I'm open and interested in any advice those of you who have gone through that step process already have. Okay, the second objective is to make good and effective use of my time. Number 3 is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions. 5 is to perform good actions relative to my creed. 6 is to recognize my true limits and true opportunities. 7 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully. And number 8 is to, 9, is to keep my balance. That sun, I bet it's coming through the camera. Can you kind of sense the heat, the temperature? Man, it is starting to blaze. It's a quick check. It's 23 degrees, 24 degrees Celsius, and 89 humidity, 24 C and 89 humidity. I bet that I should start doing. I keep forgetting. I should check the temperature and humidity and write it down as I start the video. I'm going to do that tomorrow, and then check it again as I leave and write it down, and we can see how much it changes in a half hour to an hour that it takes to do this. All right, I'm going to read one principle from the book. I think I read the principle that I read yesterday, Principle of Family, twice. Now this principle is called public. The next principle is principle number 13, public speaking. And it has a couple of sub-principles. Best words, prudence, felicity, eloquence, literature, rumor, and gossip. Those are the sub-principles of public speaking. And a quote. This one's from the Bible. Psalm 50:23. Remember, it's public speaking. To him that ordereth his conversation aright, will I show the salvation of God. Speak and communicate always as though any person being spoken of is standing directly before us and attentive to our every word. This helps prevent us from gossiping. In this way, we shall not gossip or pass idle time at the expense of another. That's something that I would regard as a sin in my worldview. Use few words and just the right words to cautiously convey our meaning in alignment with our thoughts and emotion, avoiding verbal flourish unnecessary to our intent, or the adornment of our ideas with words irrelevant to our more Spartan meaning. Read great writing for the benefit of example and precedent, and never spread stories or trade in the misfortune or folly of others. That's it. Let's review those sub-principles again. Remember, the principle is public speaking. It consists of the sub-principles of best words. So we gain best words by having a good arsenal of vocabulary at our disposal and having practice at using it. We gain that through strong reading. I really do recommend young people, beginning with basically as soon as they can learn to read, to try to read as much as possible, and especially at the dawn of the age of reason, to begin reading great literature that will really, especially literature from the past, that will enhance the breadth and depth of our vocabulary and understanding. Keep a dictionary handy to look those words up. And then I have a couple of words here that I have to think about for a second, because it's been a long time since I've studied this principle. And I remember carefully choosing these words when I wrote it. Prudence, felicity, eloquence. Prudence, felicity, and eloquence. Boy, oh boy. I wish I could remember why I chose those words, but I remember it was a weekend I spent exercising, trying to think of the sub-principle. Prudence is the judicious. Oh yeah, eloquence. Good best words is knowing the words. Prudence is the good judgment to decide which words to use. Felicity, boy, I don't remember why I included that word. Sometimes I'll put hints in the actual subtext, in the actual text. Use few words and just the right words to cautiously convey our meaning in alignment with our thoughts and emotion, avoiding verbal flourish. I guess I'd have to look up what felicity means. I don't remember why I included that word. It's a little embarrassed. Eloquence, of course, because we can speak with eloquence. Not unnecessary eloquence, but eloquence helps to make life interesting and fun, right? I mean, that's why we read Dr. Johnson, right? We read Dr. Johnson because he's eloquent, but it's not surface level eloquence. It's eloquence with great depth. Literature, again, literature means, studying literature will give us all of this, and then avoiding rumor and gossip, which I refer to those as sins. Felicity, felicity, felicity. Oh to know a woman named Felicity. All right, the last thing I'm going to do is talk about today. My goal for the next 24 hours is to ship and list. It's a Friday, ship and list. I'm almost at the point now where, well, I gave myself a challenge. I didn't actually plan to talk about this. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm trying to. I've mentioned before that I have a bit of a financial challenge. That financial challenge being that Social Security. I'm living on my pension right now, and we used I used a dedicated balance from my 401k and IRA retirement fund to fund the move to Japan and buy our house, furnish our house, and do the initial renovations. I had a budget for that. I spent that budget. I got really lucky. I think I'm lucky that I was able to accomplish all of that within our budget. So that was good. But the problem is that budget is now complete. So here's the thing. I can live on our pension. Our life can be sustained on our pension just fine. The house is paid for. The car is paid for. Everything is paid for. I hope I don't sound like I'm bragging. This is me laying the groundwork for everything. My challenge is, though, I didn't plan well for my daughter's college education, and I did take out a loan to pay for the last 2 years of her college, which I'm still paying off. So I can't afford to live on my pension and service that debt at the same time. So if to service that, but once we get to Social Security next year, we'll be able to cover everything. So I have basically 10 more months to go. And in the next 10 months, I have two choices. Either I'm going to make money to service that debt, or I'm going to continue to consume our savings to service the debt, which I don't want to do. So I kind of got given myself a challenge. I took out, yesterday was the day, I took out what I hope is the last of the money from the retirement funds. After this, I'm just going to leave those funds alone to service the debt, to continue servicing the debt. And I'm going to give myself a challenge, which is I am going to make money to make up the balance. I'll either make money through my online business, or I'll get a job, one of the two. But I'm not going to, unless I absolutely have to, I'm not going to pull any more money out of savings. Giving you a lot more information than I normally do regarding, I don't like talking about financial particulars, not because I'm shy about it, but maybe because it's irrelevant to the bigger picture. I like talking about broad things, not necessarily the particulars of things like that. But I need to share that with you to give you, so you understand my motivations. Okay, so with that motivation in place, the fact that I pulled the money out yesterday should arrive in our account next week, and I don't want to touch it again. And the fact that my business is all set up, it's running smoothly, sales are doing good, I've got everything in place. I am going to, beginning next week, I am going to begin what I'm going to basically call a 9-to-5 work, which is I'm going to be working on my business. Now, one thing that's nice is that my business is called softypapa. That means it's not limited just to the antiques and the merchandise. My business is also my YouTube. My YouTube actually makes a pretty good living. I mean, it brings in a good paycheck every month. Making videos is a part of that income from. So I have under the umbrella of the softypapa business, so to speak. There are a couple of revenue streams. There's YouTube income, there's book sales, there's Patreon, there's also my antique business and my eBay business. There's basically 4 revenue streams that I'm leveraging to basically be my business. 9 to 5 means I'm actively involved in all of those, including making videos, including getting out there into the mountains to make videos. That pushes the buttons on all fronts for the business, mainly for the YouTube revenue part. So, my plan for today, ship and list. I'm going to practice that run. So I'll be shipping 1 antique item. I'll be listing 1 antique item. I'll be shipping an order, and I'll be listing another inventory item this afternoon. And for the antique item, I'll show you. I showed you yesterday what I was listing. By the way, that one sold. That little red Ogre Bell sold before I could get it to eBay. I listed it on Fourth Wall, submitted it, and then I turned around to send it to eBay because I listed on both venues. And before I could, it sold before I could do that. So it was clearly a popular item. Got several inquiries about it. Now this is what I'm listing today, guys. This is something that I'm very excited about. I like items that tell a story. That's the theme in my eBay store. It's not just the story of what the item is, but items that tell a personal story. This is called a kiseru. It's an old-fashioned Japanese pipe that I picked up this last weekend at the antique store. Had to grab it when I saw it. But kiseru are not hard to find. They're not hard to find. And they're usually in pretty good shape. Even the old ones like this. It's got this brass pipe piece and a brass mouthpiece, and then a length of bamboo between for the cooling, to let the smoke cool. But what I love about this one, so much so that I would almost tempted to keep it for myself, is the clear evidence of use. Look at this. I don't know if it's focusing. Look at this mouthpiece. It's been chewed up. Whoever was the smoker had it in their mouth so much that it's got the brass color has been worn off of it. Maybe it's not even brass. Maybe it's aluminum or something. I don't know what it is. But it's been worn off, and you can't really see because it's not focusing. But it's dented. They would clearly have this in their mouth like Popeye, and they're chewing it. I would love to see their dental work. Chewing on their pipe for years to get that. And then over here in the bowl, I've never seen this before. They smoked the bowl off. Look at that. Usually there's like a rim. Here, I'll show you another one in just a second. This is great about this mic. I can walk around. You can see it. I've got another one here. And then I'll show you something else. Okay, this is another kiseru. This is just the bowl part. The wooden piece has been broken off. Don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Compare the two. Can you see how the one on the top, the bowl, it's been smoked off. This person smoked so much that they chewed on their pipe so much that they chewed the end off. They chewed the end into a warped mangle and smoked the bowl right off. And there's still old tobacco stuck inside. I mean, I just love this because who was this guy? And clearly it was a guy. Usually it's guys that do this. So women were known to do it. You can sometimes have old, beautiful old woodblock prints of like courtesans, right? Between customers, with the beautiful flowing robes, smoking their pipe. Anyway, this is what I'm going to list today. I can't wait to tell this story. Erica got their money's worth from that pipe. And then in the afternoon, I'm going to be listing this. Is an inventory item. This is Kapas Edison. It's I know it doesn't sound good to Westerners. Shrimp flavored. I think you call them crisps in the UK. Shrimp flavored crackers. They're really these are you can't get enough of these things. They are really good. So my daughter's favorite. My wife really likes these. My wife likes the Taki no Tane, which I also have in the store. I'll be listing these today as well. Anyway, enough of my commercial. Let's read comments. A quick check, is the temperature's rising? Oh yeah, it's already risen up to 28 and humidity's dropped to 75. And, hi Michael. Hi Tim. Good morning. Dare I say it, Kurt? I'm starting to wish for the winter months, colder days. I function a lot better without the drain the hot weather brings. Tim, I'm constantly amazed by the coordination and synchronicity of our thinking. I was thinking the exact same thing the last couple of days, although I know probably you feel the same way, right? As soon as I think that, I begin to long and lament for the sights and the sounds and the feel of summer, right? The sound of the cicada, the fecundity of life, the smell of Katori Senko, the mosquito repellent incense wafting up. Life is, right? And we always kind of, it's never 100%. We always want that something else. Tim says, I think that's the difference of years of outdoor working compared to an office job. There must be some acclimation being outdoors all you're working with. Tim, thank you for pointing that out. You're right. Even though I may be aspiring to be like those guys, it may be too late, right? I mean, you're right. Acclimation, a whole lifetime spent doing that. I think I'm feeling the summer heat as I'm doing a lot more outside activities now in retirement. Definitely get the exhaustion, but my recovery is better as I'm getting fitter now in retirement. Me too. Yep. Weather check from Tim, 9:50 p.m., 16.5 C and 74 humidity. 16.5 and 74, that's pretty nice. Warm day today for the yearly garden tree pruning and hedge cutting, so wiped out now, heat again. Having said that, no stress, so better in other ways. Precisely, ditto. Jim Jam Birds, hi there, first time I've seen your name, welcome. Good morning, Kurt. 23C, okay, so you're in the green zone, that's nice. 65 here, oh, you're totally in the green zone. What I mean by green zone is that on my temperature gauge here, it has these green zones for like heaven weather, and you are in heaven weather, Jim Jam. It's good to see you. I've been trying to reach you about getting a customized item shipped. If possible, could you please let me know the best way to contact you? Yeah, I'm sorry if I haven't seen a message from you. The best way to reach me is to send me an email at dinnerbytheriver@gmail.com. It's long but easy. Just one word, dinnerbytheriver@gmail.com. Also, if you leave a comment on any of my videos, including this one, not this comment, these comments that come during the live get erased, but after the video is permanent, if you leave a comment, I respond to absolutely every comment on my videos. So I'll respond. I'm very proud of that. I'm 6 years back. I've responded to every comment back 6 years now. Getting warm here. Well, getting warm there, I would be dead on my feet before the day starts. Yeah, boy, I can feel it. It's like, you know what it reminds me of? Back in the days when I wrote Going Alone, I would, out there in the desert, everyone might remember this. I would be rising in the desert, and as the sun came over the Black Mountain in the distance, I would be scrambling to close up my camp and get on my bike or get under the bridge before the deadly heat rose. Reminds me of that. Evelyn, felicity, happiness. Felicity, is that what that means? Happiness? There's got to be additional meanings to that, because I wouldn't have included happiness as part of public speaking, because I'm generally not. I mean, I want people to be happy, but it must be a secondary meaning. I don't know if that's what you were defining it or what, Evelyn. But the book, audiobook, samples, Audible. I don't know, 420 Monk. Hi there, welcome. I think I may have seen your name in the past. The book, audiobook, samples, Audible, rare plants. I don't know what these things mean, sorry. Good morning all. Hi Sarah. Erica, good morning. Hope today is PEF. Peaceful, easy feeling has been sustained, although it's been dampened by my general lack of well-being given this incredible heat and humidity. Thank you very much, Erica. I do appreciate that. PEF to all. That sounds like a good way to close off every video. Back in the day, long time ago, there was another one that I used to close with DBAB. No, DBAD. If you look back at some of my old Lyles Brother videos on the channel, you'll actually see as the video closes, the white letters DBAD show up. It has a meaning. And I got an email from someone last year who actually closed the email with those letters, which was like, wow, that person's been watching for a long time. One of these days I'll tell you guys what it means. It doesn't feel right to tell it now. It's a little off color. It was something my dad used to say. It stands for something my dad used to say. Tim says, funny, I saw the bell on YouTube at around 2 a.m. my time and thought I'll buy first thing in the morning, and it had sold. The pitfalls of being 8 hours behind. Yeah, that happens. I was surprised it went so quick, you know. Those things, those little bells are really popular. I've had a few of them in the store, and I don't have a few now because they all seem to go away quickly. And actually that item, I bought that from an antique dealer over the weekend, a guy that I know, and I was standing at a desk, and he was on the other side of he's got a pretty big venue, and I heard him say, I've got something good to show you. He saw me, he knows what I like, and he came around the corner to pick that out and show that to me, trying to make a sale, and he did, he sold that, because as soon as I saw it, I said, oh yeah, this is going to go quick, and so I bought it from him, and I listed it, and it went quick. And one of the things that was special about that one was it wasn't a souvenir item. Sometimes you can find those items and they're souvenirs because they'll have like the place name they came from. It didn't have that. That item was actually sold to be a charm of some sort, kind of like a spiritual element of ward or something like that. I don't know, but it wasn't a souvenir. They got their money worth from that pipe. They sure did. Good with some seaweed. 42 monk, 420 monk. I'm afraid 420 monk, I don't understand what you're saying. You're giving me fragments of sentences, and I don't know the context of what you're referring to. Tim says, the Japanese crackers have a taste you can't get here in the UK. Yeah, they really do. These have a taste that you would think that the Western taste buds wouldn't be able to quite comprehend, but you put them in your mouth and you bite down and you're like, holy Moses, I gotta have more of that. I'm not a big snack guy, but I can easily go through a bag of those. Yumiko calls it, using my stash. How do I make incense? Oh, I don't know how to make incense, sorry. Thanks, Jim Jam says, thanks, Kurt, I certainly feel heavenly here today. We'll reach out via email. I think I just saw the email fly by because I just saw an email come through. So I think you just sent your email. I'll check it out a little later, Jim Jam. I need to finish this and go up and join the crowd for radio exercise in 12 minutes. But I will read your email. Eric says, good morning. Hi, Eric. Ideas. 420 monk. I don't understand. Felicity versus facility. Nope, it wasn't facility, Eric. Eric, it was definitely felicity. I definitely chose that word carefully. And I actually knew what it meant at the time, or at least I knew the meaning that it had, because it could have several meanings, but I remember the meaning, and it would definitely, I just don't remember why I wrote it, but I included it. I'll look it up. One of my favorites is live long and improper. That's a clever churn. I did, haha, looking forward to it. Wonderful. All right, everybody. Well, like I said, I need to race off and go join the radio exercise team. I wish you all the best, everybody. What did I say would be a good salutation? Good closing? I don't remember. We just said it. Have a good day and stay cool. All right. That sounds like a good one. Take care, Tim. Bye-bye, everybody. Be safe but not too safe. Bye-bye. Thanks, Evelyn. You have fun, too.